Welcome to Let's Get Spiritual. I'm your host, Annie, and I'm here with my bestie, Ashley, and we'd love for you to join us as we discuss all aspects of spirituality and wellness. So sit back, take a breath, and let's get spiritual. Hello. Welcome back to Let's Get Spiritual.
Hi, guys.
It's Annie and Ashley here, and we're about to get into it.
Here we are.
Yeah. This one is not the most cheerful episode that we have, but it's always going to be great because it's us. So there's that.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good spin on it.
Yeah. And our last episode kind of rolls right into this one. We talked a lot about boundaries and balance and minding your energy and who you decide to spend that with. And all of that comes with some hard truths. So that's what this episode's going to be about. Yeah, it's sticky and it's icky and it's annoying and it's hard to deal with some of this stuff. And that's where you have to learn how to work through emotions, because being on a spiritual path, being more conscious of things, you become more aware of things, and you don't always want to become aware of the things you are now aware of.
Once you are woke, you are woke.
Yeah.
Once the feelings are felt, they are felt. And sometimes you even pick up on other people's feelings, and it is not always fun.
And then once you become on that spiritual path, you're digging deep into finding out who you are, and you start to kind of realize more about who other people are. And
yes.
You realize who aligns more with you and who doesn't align more with you. And these are all really hard things to accept, work through, and move on from. Sometimes it's jobs. Sometimes it's people. Sometimes it's just environments in the whole city you have to get away from.
Sometimes you just need to get out of wherever you're at, period.
Yeah. And then, we have these decisions to make when we come to these realizations. And that is, do we, now that we are aware of these truths and we are setting these boundaries and there's this friction, what do we do and how do we do it? And that stuff is never easy. Going through my divorce was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. Actually going through the steps of it. And I'd put it off for quite some time and try to work on it over and over again. And it was hard to accept the things that I had to accept as a result of my decisions. There's a lot of hard things that come with taking big steps in our lives and putting ourselves and our energy first and honoring our truths. There's just a lot of hard, icky stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of big stuff to kind of come to terms with, because in setting your own boundaries and things like we talked about in the last episode, you do start to realize some of the things that you do to not reinforce those things.
Yeah.
And you start to realize the parts where you yourself need to get better. And that's never always
I learned about myself that I held myself back from really great things a lot because of some of the fears that I had or misconceptions about love or work and stuff like that. Right. And it's crazy to realize that and be like, oh damn,
and it's hard to stay present too, because you do tend to slip into that if this is what I did wrong, what else have I done? What other things have I missed out on? And playing the what if game, you definitely
there's a lot of
not want to play the what if game when you are coming to hard truths. It's something that's going to happen, but you don't want to do it.
It's easy to spiral and down
that easy to spiral.
Yeah. Well, and being spiritual doesn't come to you while you're on the yoga mat, and being spiritual isn't when you're in a crystal therapy session. It's outside these situations in real life when you're really being tested on your boundaries. Yep. When you're really being tested on your patience. Yeah. When you're all I love everybody in the world, but then everyone annoys you that day. That's when you're supposed to be spiritual.
That's when you're supposed to be spiritual, right?
I say it all the time.
Well, because it's true. People think it's when you're, zenned out on a yoga mat. No, that's great.
That's how you maintain the balance to be a spiritual person throughout the day.
Exactly. That's how you feel the feelings. Yes. So that way when life is kicking you around and throwing things at you, like our friend, the little clown that we referenced in our last episode, that's when you go, okay, yeah, remember when I was on the yoga mat and I was all this feels nice? Okay, I need to hold on to that.
Yeah.
Because right now,
I always go back to my breath. I'm this is all I can control.
Yes. Mindful breathing again, not angry breathing.
Yeah. It starts angry and then it becomes more into the mindful place. I have to let some of that emotion out. Yeah. But it's hard to do. And there's a lot of hard truths. One of the biggest ones is that life is going to be tough. There's always people die. There's no way getting around that hard truth. I'm sorry to say it so bluntly, and no disrespect to anyone who's passed. my heart goes out to anyone who's lost anyone, but it's a part of life. That's one of the only things guaranteed in life is death and change. And these are things that no one likes to deal with because they always make us uncomfortable. Unfortunately, a hard truth is that there's always going to be things to make us uncomfortable because life is all about change and everything is always changing from moment to moment. The universe is fluid. There's nothing that stays the same other than down to the core of the sacred geometry that lives within all of life forms. Like those are the things that are constant. God is constant. Soul, or like source, earth, all of this is like constant stuff. But even that's always changing.
Right.
Everything is just fluid in that. So I kind of want to get into one of my favorite little people, Pema Chodron. I've talked about her before a lot. She's the American Tibetan Buddhist. She's an ordained nun, and she's actually the first American woman to become a fully ordained Buddhist nun in the Tibetan tradition. So she really helps bring this stuff to become more palatable. She had written a book, and it's basically talking about how to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and learning how to relax in the midst of chaos. And that's what we all kind of need. Like, again, we can't, if we ignore these things, they're just going to pile up in our subconscious.
Exactly.
So and that's what a lot of people do. They escape from the pains and the trials and tribulations that come with being alive and losing people and people not meeting expectations and just all the hardships of life and being a parent and all the things, everything. Yeah. So learning how to become comfortable with being uncomfortable is kind of the best way to look at it and approach it. It sounds crappy.
Yeah, it does.
Like, oh, great. Now I just have to learn how to be comfortable with everything that's uncomfortable. But it really, we don't get into any better place within ourselves for our growth unless we get a little bit out of our comfort zone anyway. Again, like we talked about this in another episode where we all had to get out of our comfort zones, but into better places.
Exactly.
I'm about to take some steps.
Comfort zone.
Yeah, I'm about to take some personal steps of my own that are going to be a little bit uncomfortable, and I'm sad to, leave something behind to enter a new chapter. But it's also, it's uncomfortable, but it's exciting and it's new, and
you're
I know
excited about where it can lead.
Yeah,
to.
Exactly. So there's always going to be things that, and the what ifs and everything that comes into play that are going to keep us from doing those things that might be better for us, but are maybe a little uncomfortable to get there.
Exactly. And it's easy to play the what if game, and it's easy to stop yourself from actually taking that step. There was a saying that I heard a long time ago that fear is the gatekeeper to our success. So if you can get past that fear, the success and everything you want is right there on the other side. But the hardest part is to get past the things that make you afraid.
Yeah. And that's hard.
It is hard because you can't help but overthink. You can't help but worry about everything. But that's the whole point of pushing past it is, there's all those things, all those maybe valid, very invalid and valid reasons to not take those steps
sometimes we
forward.
irrationalize, but sometimes it's very rational fears that we have about things.
And you just need to still do it. If it feels in your gut that it's just
what you have to
do, as crazy as it sounds, you just have to do it.
Facts.
It will work out better. I mean, it's not going to work out better instantly. I'm not a magician over here. I'm not going to be like, yes, you're going to take these steps and you're going to feel great instantly. You're still going to feel like a crusty bag of dog dirt, but you will get to a point where it does feel better. And again, you get to that new comfort zone and you realize that you just kind of had to get out of your own way to get to a better place.
Exactly. Well, I definitely recommend any of like Pema's teachings because she talks a lot about that and how to do it in like waking life. Like one of the greatest examples she talked about is like when you're stuck in traffic, like again, you can let this uncomfortable situation make you cranky for the whole rest of the day, or you can just allow that to pass and just be done.
Realize it's just a moment. It might be a long moment. It might feel like it's the end of the world kind of moment, but it is just a moment.
Yeah, and she talks a lot about when life kind of just takes the rug right out from under your feet and how to just learning not to panic in situations like that. Yeah. She's definitely very encouraging. And again, when you're able to change your perception of the situation into a more positive outlook, you're able to turn any kind of negative or challenging situation into a better situation for yourself.
Exactly.
So she has a quote, when we can make ourselves miserable or we can make ourselves strong, the amount of effort is the same. And it's true. Like the amount of effort that we put in to being positive takes just as much effort as it does to be negative.
True.
So like what are you going to do for yourself and which direction are you going to take yourself in that situation? And another really hard truth is that sometimes, again, we're the biggest thing in our way. That's one that I had to learn personally. We cause sometimes our own misery. We're the only ones like keeping ourselves stuck in a toxic situation. I hear a lot of people who complain a lot about the situations that they're in, but also do nothing
to get out of them. Yeah.
Or like it's hard for me because I'm definitely the kind of person that if it's not resonating, I take steps.
Right. Not everybody's like that.
No, and it's hard for me to see people stuck in that cycle because I want them to realize that you're not getting better being in a situation. So it's hard. Yeah, that's a hard truth to see.
But they're learning what they need to in that situation.
I know. I know. And that's a hard truth for me to realize is that, people are on their own journeys in their own time. And sometimes we can't help people. And that sometimes is a really hard truth to come to terms with is you can give all the advice to someone or try to mend a relationship all you want or, try to help someone with a really bad habit or addiction or something. And unless they're in the place to get out of that, it's not
going to happen. You can't love someone enough to fix them, unfortunately.
It's hard truth. There are so many hard
That's why I made the face in the beginning of this episode, because it's a gross episode, but it's necessary.
Yeah, and a lot of our own problems are caused through our own lack of self-discipline or our own lack of self-awareness. So again, if you don't
self-love too,
self-love and boundaries, like it's all of that lacks in this place of like misery, and it's a hard truth to realize that we're the ones who control all of that and can change it for ourselves by changing the environment we're in, the people we're around. And again, that's all hard stuff. This is
it's super hard, especially if you're in, if you're in an abusive relationship or something like that. It's never easy to get out of it because sometimes you're literally afraid for your life.
I can relate to that. I was in a position where I had to kind of accept that I didn't know what was going to happen when I came to express my feelings that I didn't want to be in the marriage anymore. And I had to overcome that. And actually that gave me the confidence to go, you know what? I can do whatever I really set my mind to.
But you also have to, and again, I don't think we can stress it enough. You did go to therapy. Like you did have outside help. She did not like Wonder Woman herself through this, people. She had outside help.
For months, like months on end. You really should exhaust all of your options. If you're in any position where you're having a hard time with anything, a financial hardship, there's sources for you out there.
Exactly.
And relationship hardships and all kinds of things. There's resources out there. And I don't think anyone should ever feel alone in those cases. Like you have help. There's places you can go and you don't have to feel ashamed about it or guilty about what you're doing and what you think is best for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's scary, but anything outside of what we're used to is scary. And again, that's living out of our comfort zones. We got real cozy as a society, creating a nice, cushy life for ourselves. And it's not always the best place for us to be in.
No, exactly.
And getting out of the comfort zones, we said, it's like essential to our growth as a person and in any part of our life. Like we have to grow and we have to get a little bit uncomfortable each time we go through like a phase of growth. And that's why being on the spiritual path is not easy as well.
Nope.
That is a big old hard truth. I've found that being on my own spiritual path comes with a lot of hard truths about myself, about other people. And it's hard to it's murky to navigate that stuff.
It is. And a lot of people, especially if they're new to spirituality, think it's crystals and tarot cards and, happy fun times and doing yoga and my life is going to be different.
That's the stuff that keeps me sane from all the other hard truths that we deal with.
Those are just the intro things, people. There's a whole nother book you have to get to if you really want to do this well.
And honestly though, anything in life that you've worked hard for has always been worth it. I feel like those things that we work hard for and we apply ourselves for and the goals that we set and everything always feel better in the end because we know it was harder to get there.
Exactly. I think you learn to appreciate things more too when you put in that extra work. When you like one of my bosses, I hated him as a person, but he always said if you have some skin in the game, you tend to work a little bit harder and do a little bit more. And
for sure,
what it comes down to.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it definitely when you apply yourself more and you want that better outcome when your heart and your soul are in things.
Yeah.
So and it always just feels better. So that's why it's like not worth it to just mindlessly go about things that don't feed your soul and don't feed you and don't bring out
to
that
just go
part
through
of
the
you.
motions. Yeah.
I found a list of like 10 painful truths that I kind of wanted to share. And again, this kind of goes with just the mehness of this episode. So one, we kind of talked about it. The average human life is relatively short. We don't have a lot of time on this planet, people. So make the time in your human vessel worth it.
Yeah.
Tell the people you love them. Take the opportunities that come at you that make you feel great. Like that's a painful truth. So anyone can go at any moment's notice and we don't want to live with regret. So live your life. And you only ever live the life that you create for yourself. So create a beautiful life for yourself to live. Being busy does not mean that you are being productive. That's a painful truth.
I think you have to listen to the episode before that to also get some more detail because we did bring that up again.
Yes, we did. Some kind of failure always occurs before success, which again was kind of what we talked about a little bit before, where you sometimes get pulled back in life before life launches you forward into success. Thinking and doing are two very different things.
Oh, God, yes.
Yes.
So annoying.
Yes.
That's a very hard truth that I don't really like.
That was the hard truth that got me out of my marriage.
I know, but
there was a lot of, and we do it. I'm guilty of it myself. There's a lot of great things that I say I'm going to do, and then or I think I can do. And sometimes I'm just not capable of doing all these things.
It's true. I've heard once that motivation is bullshit, and that's true because you feel like motivation is never there when you need it.
No.
It's there when you're having the great ideas.
Yeah.
Not when you need to do the
not when you
actions.
have to execute these ideas. Another one is you don't have to wait for an apology to forgive. That's a hard truth. We have a whole episode coming up on forgiveness down the line, and one of the things we'll talk about is how you cannot expect someone to apologize to you for something that they did. Again,
closure is bullshit too. Just throw that in there.
It is.
It really is. You're not always going to get it.
You don't. No, that's a hard truth.
Yeah,
for sure. Some people are simply the wrong match for you. This one is hard. Yeah, we did talk about this. And I feel you may love someone, but that person, and that's okay. Like more than one thing can be true at the same time. Yes. You can love someone, but they cannot be the right person.
And I feel like every human being who's ever dated, been in a relationship has felt this.
Yeah.
Like, you don't date crappy people and go, oh, this person's crap. Maybe you do. But most people don't do that. Yeah. So you do go into a relationship thinking that this is going to work out.
And like sometimes you go into a relationship with the same mindset and goals. And as you guys learn and grow and
life happens.
Time passes, things change, and it's okay to accept that and to move on past that and still have love for each other, but not be together.
Right. You can love
I think we need more mature breakups in life. And
oh my gosh, yeah.
People are petty.
I've had a petty breakup. Yeah.
I'm not an expert at those, but I know they're out there. So another one is it's not other people's jobs to love you, it's yours. So self-love is more important than how other people perceive you, because again, they're only perceiving you from what their brain and their experiences allow them.
Can literally like think up in their own self.
And how they view you from their eyes, from their traumas and their experiences, and you cannot take that personally.
No.
You just gotta love you.
Exactly.
And what you own is not who you are. The things that you own are not what defines you.
Exactly.
That's one thing I wrote in my list of what I like and what I don't like. This is my favorite list. My life is not, the success of my life is not determined by, and I wrote a list of things that like, my belongings does not determine the quality of my success, and all the other things that don't determine that. And then I made another list of these are the things that do show how successful of a person I am and what that meant to me. So
that's nice. I've never done that before.
Yeah, make the lists, girl.
You are all about them lists.
Yes, yes. And the last one on this list is that everything changes every second, all the time. Nothing is the same as it was 3 seconds ago.
True.
Nothing is the same in 10 seconds from now that it is now. Like, it's crazy. We're growing. I'm older in those 10 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, nothing ever.
Time means nothing.
It is irrelevant. It does not exist. We created it. Actually, we just put a measurement to things that pass. Like, the sun is coming up and down. So
we say this, and at the same time, last week I encountered a client that was late, and it drove me crazy.
Yeah. Time does matter in our jobs and everyday life, but really it is because we created the structure to it, and we put the pressure, and the same with money, but that's for another time.
For another episode.
Now it's tarot time.
Oh, again? That was quick.
It is. It's kind of quick, but
well, that's why we like to have these short episodes, because we know this is a lot of stuff. Like, we could go on forever about some of these topics, but we just want to give you a nice taste of things. We want you to open up your minds. We want you to think of things outside of your comfort zone and outside of your box. So that's why we give you this nice little, 20 minute to 30 minute, like, little burst of energy in your day, so that way you can kind of just
think about this stuff
differently.
Yeah, and definitely bring some more mindfulness and self-awareness and self-love. Like, they all go together. Being aware of these hard truths, being more mindful of them makes them less painful. Mm-hmm. Being comfortable in the uncomfortable situations. Yeah, it's still going to be uncomfortable, but now you're comfortable in it.
Exactly. You know what to expect. We gave you
this
a little bit of control.
This is a sad one to say. It smells like poo in here, but we're, like, used to the smell by now.
I said that when we left the one place. The one rest stop. I was like, oh no, I don't smell the poo anymore. My nose must be dead too.
Yeah, we're used to it now.
We got in our comfort zone.
But it is a part of our spiritual path, and it is a part of how we learn to grow and adapt and keep changing in this ever-changing life that we're in. So let's take a few breaths and get ourselves centered as Ashley shuffles the cards and we get some message from Spirit. So we'll take 2 counts in and 2 counts out. Be nice, quick ones. And we'll go 1, 2, and out 1, 2. Again. And out. Last one. And exhale.
It's back again.
Oh no.
Nice. So, if you have watched past episodes, I'm not really a fan of the 5 of Wands, because it's literally 5 people hitting
I just realized it really is. They're all just having a stick fight.
I like to
reminds me of The Office when they're pointing their, like, air guns at each other, but actual sticks.
But it's sticks. So I feel, and nothing else is really coming out. Maybe I'll have their look at the bottom then. But yeah, this is it. We have nothing stuck together. So we have the 6 of Swords and this bad boy, the 5 of Wands. I feel like this is kind of crusty, and maybe it's because we were talking about a crusty topic, so my energy just kind of came off on it a little bit, but maybe it's about perception, because the 6 of Wands to me means that you're leaving something behind. Yeah. You're getting out of a comfort zone.
Yeah. So, or you're like in it and about to move out of it.
Things are changing. I feel like you're making maybe decisions. You're getting ready. You realize that this change is inevitable. Are all those swords in his boat? They are in the boat, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Because it's like you're taking your stuff and you're leaving. You're like, I'm taking my stuff and I'm out. Yeah. So, I hope no one's having a breakup if you're listening to this. We feel for you if you are.
Yes.
But I feel like with the 6 of Swords, you're leaving something behind. You are getting out of a comfort zone.
Maybe it's going to be better for you. I hope.
If you are thinking that it's time to make a change, this to me is like saying it's time to make a change, because the situation that you're in is not great.
So that's why.
I cannot emphasize this 5 of Wands enough.
It's bad.
I don't like it. It's literally people smacking each other with sticks. Like,
so there's a lot of tension.
Beating yourself up. You're in like this horrible I don't want to say toxic, but you are hitting
that doesn't look positive.
It's not looking great. So I don't. The 5 of Wands is just another, again, kind of indication to me that you kind of need to get moving.
Yeah.
You need to get in your boat, get your stuff, and get out.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you need to do. I shuffled a little bit more because I don't want to leave off on such a sad.
I mean, this episode is terrible.
I hope you guys enjoy it and grow from it, because it's crusty.
Listen, it's hard.
It is. And then we have the 7 of Pentacles popped out. I do feel like, and this, here, let's show it off here. Yes. This little man you put the work in. and he's just waiting. Again, I just kind of feel like the message for anybody that this kind of resonates with is that go ahead and make the decision.
Yeah.
It's going to be uncomfortable. It can't possibly be as uncomfortable as getting smacked around like you're currently getting smacked around. And if you are patient and you stick with it and stay consistent with your change, maybe putting up boundaries and being, balanced with things like in our last episode, it is going to pay off. Yeah. 7 of Pentacles. Pentacles means that good things are coming, but you're going to have to put some work in and you're going to have to really focus.
Get comfortable with the uncomfortable stuff.
Still better than getting smacked around with sticks, though. So go ahead and make that decision. Get out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. Do what's right for you, even if it is hard. If you know in your heart that it's the right thing to do, then do the hard thing.
Yeah.
And do what's right for you.
Yeah.
And stay spiritual. And stay spiritual. Yes! There we go. We had to do something. Stay spiritual.
All right, guys. Have a great night.
Yes.
We will see you
next time. Take care. Bye.